Channel. Welcome to my channel. Today my topic is great expectations. My father family name being Pirrip and my Christian name Philip. My in fact Tongo could make of both names nothing longer or more explicit than Pip. So I called myself Pip and came to be called Pip. I give Pips and my father family name on the authority of his Tombstone and my sister, Mrs. Gargery, were married who married the blacksmith. As I never saw my father or my mother and never saw any likeness of either of them, for their days were long before these days of photographs. My first fancies regarding that they were like were unreasonably derived from their tombstones. The shape of the letters on my father gave me an odd idea that was a square, short, stout, dark man with curly black hairs from the character and turn of inspiration. Also Georgian wife of the above. I drew the childish conclusion that my mother was friendly and sickly, to five little stones, longest each about a foot and a half long, which were arranged in a net row beside their grave, and were scared to the memory of five little brothers of mine, who gave up trying to get a living exceedingly early in that universal struggle. I am indebted for a belief I religiously entertained that they had all been borne on their backs with their hands in their throttle packs etc., and had never taken them out this state of existence. Ours was a marsh country down the river. Also river wound 20 million of the sea. My first most vivid and broad impression of the identity of things seems to me to have been gained on a memorable raw afternoon towards evening. At such time I found out of the certain that this black place overgrown with nettle was a churchyard, and that Philip is late of this parish, and also Georgina, wife of the above, were dead and buried, and that Alexander, Bartholomew, Abraham, Tobias, and Roger, infant children of the aforesaid, were also dead and buried, and that the dark flat wilderness behind that the churchyard, instructed with decks and mounds and gates, with scattered cattle feeding on it, was marshes, and that a low leaden line behind was the river, and that the distant savage lair from which the wind was rushing that was the sea, and that the black bundle of shivers growing afraid of it all and beginning to cry was Pip. Hold your noise, cried a terrible voice as a man started up from among the graves at the side of the church porch. Keep still, you little devil, or I'll cut your throat. A fearful man, Alan, coarse grey, with a great iron on his leg, a man with no hat and with broken shoes and with an old rag tied round his head, a man who had been soaked in water and smothered in mud and lamed by stones and cut by flints and stung by nettles and taunts by briars, who limped and shivered and glared and growled, and whose teeth clattered in this his head and seized my chain. Oh, do not cut my throat, sir, I paled in terror. Pray do not do this, sir. Tell us your name, said the name quick. Pip, sir, once more, said the man, starting at me, given mouth. Pip, Pip, sir, show us where you live, said the man. Pip on out the table. I pointed to where our village lay on the flat in the shore among the elder trees and plowed a mile or more from the church. The man, after the looking at me for a moment, turned me upside down and emitted by pocket. There was nothing in them but a piece of bread. When the church came to itself, for the was sudden and strong that the made it go head over heels before me, and I saw the sleeps under my feet when the church came to itself. I say was seated on a high tombstone, trembling while